That includes multiple shooters who remain at large. Our camera spotted a 138 makeshift evidence marker at the scene. Police say some 140 pieces of ballistic evidence are involved.
We definitely believe, based on our observation, a gun with a switch was involved, which we've talked about has been a significant issue for us.
As crews work to erase the reminders of the violence on South Edding Street, police and community groups work together.
They want to be heard. They want to know that this is not who Edding Street and South Philly and Grays Ferry is.
Tyreek Glasgow was raised in the neighborhood and is now the executive director of Young Chances Foundation. It sits just a block away from the shooting that police say killed 3 people and left 9 others injured. He canceled a summer camp today that the organization runs and instead walked up and down the sidewalk, helping those impacted by the violence.
It hurt me this morning. I was frustrated. My tears don't come from the pain. It comes from letting these kids down.
When the cameras is gone and everybody has forgotten all about it, we're still here. Whether it be West Philly, North Philly, South Philly, if we have to travel across the line, we do that.
Philadelphia Anti-Drug, Anti-Violence Network was another group on the scene. The organization also responded to another mass shooting that happened outside of a South Philadelphia nightclub around 4 o'clock Saturday morning, where 8 people were wounded.
My focus is parents getting involved. Everybody have to get involved.
That call to action is shared by Philadelphia Police Commissioner Kevin Bethel. He pointed out, while yes, shootings are down in the city according to the data, the problem is far from being solved.
I can't police myself out of a parent who's not engaging their child and not having them walk in the streets well after time.
SV Twiz, the hood blogger, y'all know how I carry it. Shout out to everybody that been rocking with the content. Y'all already know what it is, man. If y'all new to the channel, hit the sub. If y'all a returning viewer and y'all ain't sub yet, what's the hold up, bro? But long story short, man, on top of the trash issues that is going on in Philly right now, it been a lot of shootings, bro, over the 4th of July weekend. It been real messy, man, real messy. Everything seemed like it started turning up soon as it hit Friday.
Car in northeast Philadelphia. Police tell us the 15-year-old was found dead with multiple gunshot wounds in an alleyway along the 6300 block of Revere Street. This was just after 6 tonight. A witness telling police a sedan, possibly white, pulled into the driveway, then pushed the teen out of the car before taking off. And shortly after that shooting, we learned that an 18-year-old woman had been shot in a road rage shooting on Roosevelt Boulevard in Bustleton. Police say the woman was shot in the shoulder. This is the 11 o'clock news. I'm Sheba Russell. We want to get straight out to our Steve Keeley. And Steve, a busy night for you and police. What can you tell us?
Well, I just spoke to a veteran detective, and he says we both have seen so many road rage cases in our careers. This is the most outrageous one. It's more of a parking lot rage. So we're outside the Walmart. Sean, show them the Walmart. This is how close we are to the front doors. And 2 guys that had 2 of the best parking spots wasn't good enough for them. So this red Chevy pickup driver, he's got an 18-year-old woman with him in the front seat and 3 little kids in the back. It's a 4-door pickup truck. The man's in there. We're not going to show his face, but he's in the back of this car. He's got a graze wound to his head. He's the driver and owner of the red Chevy pickup. He's backing his truck in, and you can see, look, he didn't even go over the white line, but the guy in this gray Jeep thought he was parking too close to his nice gray Jeep, so they get into an argument. And both of these guys have guns. So according to police, this 37-year-old driver of this Jeep starts shooting into the windshield with this family of 5 in there. Fortunately, nobody's killed, but the worst hurt is this 18-year-old wounded in the shoulder, the female, and she's at the hospital and stable. Now we're going to walk to the front of this man's Jeep, and this guy who was worried about a scratch on his Jeep somehow fired a gun when he was all upset through his own windshield, because you can see the glasses pushing out, and that's an evidence that it was coming from inside going out. So he fired a shot through his windshield there of his own vehicle while he was all upset. And again, this is outside the Walmart. Now look on the roof of the Walmart. You've got cameras that captured all this. Then behind this, as my man Sean Park turns around, there's one of these mobile cameras. So there's so much surveillance of this. And these guys know they're under surveillance. And as one cop said, everybody's got a gun and everybody's got a temper, and the two make a bad mix. Here's Chief Inspector Scott Small, who we just interviewed at the scene of the 15-year-old murder 55 minutes ago. This is just outrageous, one detective just said.
Yeah, this all started over parking, and both Both drivers had a parking spot, good parking spots, but they felt that the vehicles were too close to one another and possibly maybe when they opened a door could scratch or cause some damage, but they had an argument and it escalated into gunshots where two individuals were actually shot. One 18-year-old female who was in the Chevy pickup truck was shot in the shoulder. So she's stable, Jefferson Tarsdale, but she's extremely lucky. And there was 3 other juvenile children in that truck that were not struck.
While we're talking, Sean's going to go back and show the front of the red truck's pickup windshield. How is the miracle that none of the kids are shot, the guy's only grazed, and nobody's killed? He's firing basically point blank into the windshield where there's a family of 5.
He's only firing from about 10, 15 feet away. Several bullets go through that front windshield, and we know that there's 5 individuals in that pickup truck, but 2 of them were struck. The 50-year-old driver, graze wound to his head. He's extremely lucky. Treated and released on the scene, stayed to talk to police. But the 18-year-old female, we believe is his daughter, he's struck in the shoulder, so she's very, very lucky that she's stable.
You've got both guns, and the 37-year-old guy never left the scene here. He's there thinking he didn't do anything wrong. And this is right outside a busy Walmart. Why, there's a shootout, and this Walmart's packed here right now, even this late.
Yeah, the Walmart was wide open for business, multiple customers inside, and there are people coming and going to their cars. The parking lot is almost packed, and we watched the recording. It's all caught on camera, and you can see multiple people walking in and out of the businesses in the parking lot right where these shots were fired.
All right, Scott Small, thanks again. And Sheba, he's off to another shooting, a man shot in the stomach a couple of miles from here. So it's been one of those nights as we head into the 4th of July weekend.
And I can already tell how exhausted you are by all of these stories that you've been running to all day today, practically, Steve. All right.
You can see by even on this news clip that even the news reporters is frustrated and burnt out from the repeated shootings that's going on in the city of Philly, man. Definitely pray for Philly, but let's just get into, what happened over the weekend. It says, over just one holiday weekend, police say 19 shootings occurred across the city, leaving 46 people injured and 6 people unalived. At around 9:15 p.m. Friday, police officers were called to the intersection of York and 2nd Streets in North Philly. Upon arrival, officers found a man inside a sedan that had crashed into a telephone pole. Officials said the man had been shot in the lower back and that there were multiple bullet holes in the rear passenger side of the car. He was taken to Temple University, where he was listed as stable. Shortly after that, around 10:30, police say a 15-year-old boy walked into Penn Presbyterian Medical Center with a gunshot wound to his leg. He told investigators he was shot near 41st and Ogden Streets in the Belmont City section. Police located a crime scene in the shooting and began investigating. At around 11 p.m., police received calls about gunshots on the 5700 block of Van Dyke Street. Upon arrivals, medics found the 27-year-old woman near 5700 State Road who said she was been shot in the head. She was rushed to Jefferson Tarsdale Medical, where she was listed as stable. Just before 4 a.m. Saturday morning on the 1100 block of South 11th Street, police say a shooting occurred at a 7 Elements bar and lounge. Officers arrived on scene to find 3 people suffering from gunshot wounds. Those 3 were rushed to local hospitals. 2 of those victims who were listed in critical condition, including a security guard who was shot in the face and a woman who was shot in the back. Officials later upgraded their conditions as stable. Police say 5 more people checked themselves into an area's hospitals due to the incident shooting, bringing the total number of people injured to 8. A 40-year-old man died as he exchanged gunfire with Philly police officers after they responded to a North Philly resident's domestic call.
Investigators say officers came under fire when responding to a domestic violence call along the 2900 block of Lawrence Street. Police say the shooter ran out of that house and then fired at officers.
The male then enters the driver's side of the police vehicle, closes the door, what we believe is maybe about to try to take the police vehicle, at which point in time he continues to fire at the officers as they approach the vehicle.
Police returned fire and hit the suspect several times. He did not survive. No officers were injured.
Police were called to the 2900 block of North Lawrence Street in North Philadelphia Saturday evening around 6 p.m. on a domestic call, specifically referencing a person with a gun. When they arrived and began to approach the residence, they were met with gunfire from within the home. A man then left the residence, still shooting at the officers. Police took cover and exchanged gunfire with the man that fatally shot him. At around 1:20 a.m., Philly police officers responded to the 22nd District for a report of a shooting in a large crowd. Police discovered a male suffering from gunshot wounds to his back and his thigh and took him to Temple University. Shortly after, police say juvenile male and adult female, both gunshot injuries, arrived at the hospital by a private vehicle. Another mass shooting occurred in Grays Ferry overnight Sunday. Officers from Philadelphia Police Department were called to the 1500 block of South Eden Street in Grays Ferry around 1 a.m. for reports of a shooting. A 19-year-old man, a 23-year-old man, and a 24-year-old man had got their lives taken during the shooting, and 9 others were injured, and between the ages of 15 to 24 were hurt.
Incidents over the July 4th weekend. 3 people in the Grays Ferry mass shooting were killed and 9 more injured. Investigators returning to the scene today. And Kelly, you spoke with the family of one of the victims who died. Unfortunately, this is not the first time they've dealt with gun violence.
Yeah, Sheba, sadly that is the case. The father of 24-year-old Azir Harris had a heartbroken plea to the city of Philadelphia today to put the guns down. He says Azir was a father to a 1-year-old little boy and a paraplegic because he survived a drive-by shooting when he was only 17 years old. This family has been through so much and they are devastated.
I carried him at his time when he was down, and now I can't be there to pick him up no more, and it hurts. Really do. It hurts me bad.
Troy Harris says he keeps a close watch on his son, the youngest of 6, 24-year-old Azir Harris, who has been wheelchair-bound since he was 17 years old following his injuries in a drive-by shooting in South Philadelphia. When Azir's friends got him out of the house last night, he says he didn't question it.
But I figured they'd either go to the store, get some juice or something like that. I never thought that he would be on the other side of town when that happened to him.
He identified Azir, an outgoing positive father to a 1-year-old boy, as one of the 3 victims shot and killed on the 1500 block of South Edding Street around 1 a.m. He says Azir's son's mother was one of the 9 other victims injured in the shooting. Emotional loved ones gathered outside Penn Presbyterian Hospital all morning for updates as police were seen towing vehicles away for evidence. As seen in this surveillance video, police say they believe more than 100 shots erupted during an impromptu block party gathering on the block. Police say this video is part of their ongoing investigation. The gunfire striking homes and cars, one of them towed from the neighborhood today. Commissioner Kevin Bethel said he believes at least one gun had a switch on it, a device that can convert handguns into fully automatic machine guns.
We had a significant level of violence over the weekend, but we can continue to see our trends are not heading in the opposite direction. We will not go back to the times where we had 560 plus homicides. That is not happening.
Frustration. I understand what happened last night, but it's really about understanding what we did yesterday and tomorrow.
Tyreek Glasgow with the Young Chances Foundation says they set up most days like this on the block with other agencies, including the 17th District Police. He says he had to cancel summer camp today as many children were scared to leave home.
To wake up this morning from what happened last night is a travesty. So it takes us to change this.
Harris also hoping for change as his family manages a new nightmare.
I just want to say, put these guns down, man. It's a better way to solve it. Really do. It's a better way to solve it.
Officers from Philadelphia Police Department were called to the 6100 block of Vine Street in Southwest Philly around 2:30 a.m. for reportings of a shooting. Police found 4 young men between ages 18 to 22 suffering from gunshot wounds and brought them back to the hospital where they remain in unknown condition. As y'all can remember, pretty much when Memorial Day hit, it was definitely a mass shooting, but it wasn't as bad as how, 4th of July weekend was. And just like I was saying before, you can't even, in the city of Philly, you can't even get around for gatherings or, enjoy stuff with family, cookouts and all that, because it's so much going on that things go left quick. You know, and unfortunately, it was a real bloody weekend in the city. The only thing that is slightly positive, it might sound crazy, is that most of the victims that got hit actually survived. You know, even though it was 47 people in total that got hit throughout the weekend, you know, with 19 different shootings. But, you know, at the end of the day, man, we can't do nothing but pray, you know, and try to stay out the way. But this SV Twiz the Hood blogger, man, let me know what y'all think about this.